Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another optimization settings guide for Metro Exodus. Now, the game has released yesterday and I've run into a lot of problems trying to get this to work. Even the benchmark is not working properly. So I'll make maybe a separate video ranting about this if I want on the main channel, but for now I just wanted to tell you what I found to be the best settings to get this to work. I have both the versions of the game, the Steam version and the Epic Store version, and I could not get the benchmark to run on the Steam version. I don't know why that is. I tried all the things I could think of, but it did not work. It did not run at all on the Steam version of the benchmark. On the Epic Game Store version, it does run. So I've done a lot of these benchmark runs, these built-in benchmark, and I'll share with you my conclusions. Now, first thing, if you don't know how to run the benchmark is not included in the game itself. It is in the installation directory, so it's not from within the game. So in order to find the benchmark on Steam, you have to go into Steam, wherever you have installed the Steam folder, go to Steam apps, go to common, find Metro, find it, and there you have the benchmark. With the Epic Game Store version, it will depend on where you installed it. So if you installed it on D, for example, once again, program files, Metro Exodus, and it's there. It does take a while to run, but it does run eventually. First, you'll see a blank screen for about a minute or so, and then the benchmark will start loading, and then you might have to wait for another 1 or 2 minutes, and then to start running. So just be patient, it will run. So anyway, these are the settings that I found to work on my card, which is the R9 380. Now, unless you have an RTX enabled card, just run this on DirectX 11 and turn off all the Nvidia bullshit. So DLSS, ray trace, hairworks, advanced physics, all of this is just Nvidia's crap to slow down the performance with very little improvement. Yes, a lot of people are saying about how the global illumination makes things better and all of that, but at what cost? The RTX cards are insanely expensive and you get slightly better reflections and lighting in some scenes. So complete waste in my opinion. Just turn everything off. Tessellation seems to work better on Nvidia cards as far as I know. So if you have an Nvidia card, something like a 1060 or something, turn it off and on and compare the runs and see what difference you get. For me, I'm keeping this off because I saw about a 5-6 FPS drop and not much noticeable difference in the game. So I'm keeping this off. Motion blur, again, turn it off. Texture filtering, you have 4x anisotropic filtering and 16x. The difference is negligible between this, so just keep it at 16. I did a few runs and it was less than a quarter of a frame difference, so just keep it at 16. Quality, for me, medium and low are decent enough. It does look better on high. Medium, I'm getting few more frames, on average about 10 FPS more, so I'm probably going to run it on medium. So I'll do a run right now and show you how it looks, and then I'll discuss a couple of different results that I did earlier and show you what I noticed. When you press run, it will load up. There'll be a blank screen for a minute and then it will run. So like this, it'll be a blank screen and then it'll run. So I'll edit this out so we get straight to the benchmark. You'll have to wait a bit when you see this as well, but at least it's loading now. Of course, putting this on the SSD should make things a bit better as well. So I've run this on low, medium and high, and the thing that I noticed with the 3 settings was I could sort of tell that the lower settings had less detail, because a lot of times you don't notice a lot of things, but there was a slight feeling that there was something noticeable. If you see the quotes on the right hand side of the burning body, you see a bit of issue with the shadows over there, and this is on medium. You can see top right, I'm getting good FPS in these areas, well over 50-60. There's a certain part where we go outside where the frames drop completely. Whenever there is a lot of natural outside light, that seems to be the place where we are affected the worst. You see there's a lot of fire and flames and these sort of things, so it is still doing fine here. Now we have a snow effect here. Again, frames are fine for the most part. I noticed a few spikes and drops. Okay, on to that. So this is the part where the frames absolutely tank outside here. This part. Now another thing to keep in mind is that this benchmark is a sort of worst case scenario, because I've seen videos from Hardware Unboxed and Gamers Nexus, and they both said that this is not representative of the game. Gamers Nexus in fact did not even use this for their benchmarks. They used in-game sequences to do their benchmarks. And Hardware Unboxed said this would be the worst case scenario. So here we are with the results, and this is how it shows you. So total frame time, etc. Average frame rate was 4840, and max frame rate was 86, and minimum frame rate was 24. And they also give you a bit of a chart to show you. So you can see here, you can see frequent dips here, and this is probably where it went lowest. This is the part where we went outside the window into the sort of open forest area near the lake, and then it goes back up. So this is the part where we saw the major difference in the frame rates. Now I did the same run before recording, and you can see the difference here, 48 and 48, so it's about the same. Max frame rate 122, here we got 86, minimum 22, minimum 24. So it's all over the place. Now keep in mind the second one, the one we just saw, I was recording it, so maybe that's something to do, but the minimum is higher on the one that I recorded, and the one I did earlier when I was not recording, we are getting 22. So I did multiple runs of this, in fact 3 runs simultaneously, and I was getting different minimums all the time. So had minimums from 15 to 22 usually, so 24 is the highest I've seen. So I'm sure installing this on an SSD might make things a bit better, but we'll see. Now this is the results for the mediums. Let's go with the lower ones just for the sake of argument. And there's also one I did earlier with the high. So you can see all these things are same. Quality is high, here quality is medium. That's the only difference. So with high, it's 38 FPS average, and minimum is 21. With medium, average is 48 and minimum is 22. So minimums are more or less the same, but it's the average that goes down. So it depends what you like and how you like the look of the game, because if this is not fully representative of the game in general, then you can go with high, and the 1 or 2 places where it drops, it will drop about the same even at medium. So if it's very demanding and it drops down to 22, it will drop down to about the same even on the higher settings. So you could just increase it to high and then play it and at least get a better looking game. So yeah, overall very poorly optimized game, crashes, stuffed full of Nvidia GameWorks to just cripple the game. Now if you compare this with something like Resident Evil 2 that came out last month, it had a lot of those shadow and surface reflections and lighting and those things as well, but it was running fine. It was well optimized, it wasn't very demanding. Yeah, so unfortunately, if a game is involved with Nvidia, this tends to happen. Hopefully they'll have more patches and things, and hopefully this gets better. Meantime, this is what I would recommend. If you have older cards, if you have AMD cards especially, run it on DirectX 11, pick between medium and high. I would probably go with high if you have something similar to my card, which is once again the R9 380. If I had a second monitor, I would probably test out the 570 as well if I could. And with texture filtering, keep it at 16x. Performance hit is minor. Motion blur at low. Tessellation and all the other things you can turn off. If you have an Nvidia card, I would say try this at full as well, on or full, whatever it's called, and see the difference. For me, I noticed a 5 frames difference, so maybe you might not see such a big difference. So if you want to run it at 1080p on a mid to low end card, this is what you should be looking at. Turn off all these hairworks and physics. In fact, why does this have hairworks anyway? This game is set in cold areas, snow everywhere, people are wearing hats and helmets all the time. Why do we need to look at the hair? And the guys are mostly bald as well from what I could see. So I don't get it. But anyway, hopefully this was useful. I might make a separate video discussing this again on the main channel. But for now, I'll see if I can run this game and hopefully I can stream it as well. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.